air windlass, or limited late model windlass.
And we also want to mention, if you didn't hear it earlier, that Woody Pitcat won the All-Star event for the Wheel and Modified Tour at New Hampshire International Speedway. And that's not the only story there. We've got one of our own going to sing the national anthem tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be Nikki V, Nicole Vassar, who will be performing the national anthem. She's done it at Stafford. And the former Miss Greater Rockville team, she will be in action before the Xfinity race tomorrow afternoon in New Hampshire.
Again, we salute all you ladies that came out for Ladies' Night Out here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We hope you enjoyed your gifts that was presented to you at the entrance. But right now, no gift here. It's time to crank up the volume, Stafford style, as the double greens come out from Tim Bennett on the starter's stand. And the 33 was out of shape. Robert Bloxham gathered it back, Matt. And we've got side-by-side racing for the lead.
Three-way battle for the top spot. On the outside in second is Serdell. Underneath him is Kelsey Bertino. And they are trying to catch up with the 8 of David Como, who is the early firecracker after the first lap.
There's no question Kelsey Bertino continues to work over that 87 of Bob Serdell, or Robert Serdell. Currently in second. Now here comes car number 36. Kelsey Bertino is there. And Robert Bloxham just gets things back under control in his quest for the third spot as Serdell is sideways but gathers it back off turn 4.
Boy, that's one of the most aggressive moves we have seen Robert Bloxham make this year, as he is able to blister his way into third.
Car number 7. And that is the Barkowski machine, and it got hit by the number 6 of Lavoie as Barkowski's car just came around on him, and Lavoie had no place to go. Normal feature event distance. And guess what's working right now? The biggest new toy we have for the race fans these past couple of weeks.
And that is Periscope. So get out your cell phones and you will be able to see the replay, what happened in turn number 1 with Glenn Barkowski in the epicenter of that. It is a free app. You can install it on your phone, and then you can see replays in perfect clarity right from your seat. We have some great cameramen who bring those replays to you, and they do a great job, and it's almost like you're sitting in the track along with the drivers. That's how vivid those pictures are.
And we're taking a look at it ourselves for the very first time, and amazing coverage. We've just witnessed it and saw it. So if you haven't tried it yet, you got to do it, because you will be amazed. It gives you a rare opportunity to see things that previously only the officials saw here at the Speedway. And we're looking at it again on a replay of Periscope, and just as you said, Matt, crystal clear.
Yeah, no matter where you sit,
yep.
You're in your own skybox with your own replay system. So that is Periscope, and something we've added about a month ago, and it's one of the more popular things that have taken place here in 2015. And hope you're enjoying those replays. You can get a second and third look at what transpired on the track. This will be a very critical restart for David Como, because he will be trying to move away from the 36 of Kelsey Bertino. Kelsey Bertino has been around for a long time, and I don't think there are any drivers hungrier for a win than Kelsey is.
Let's see what's going to happen as they rumble off the turn. And here is the green, and Kelsey tries to take over the lead from David Como. Now, Dave is another competitor that's had a tough go of it this season, but Kelsey Bertino is out in front, and David Como is locked together. We've got cars spinning. Provost spins.
It was R.J. Serdell who got the worst of that as he spun right to the right of the Napa Auto Care Center sign.
And Robert Bloxham got literally locked in with the number 8 car of David Como, and that's where the mix-up.
Every convenience store clerk, he knows everybody on route number 44 in the Willimantic area. So, pretty personable guy is Kelsey Bertino, and he says the reason he races so hard is because his crew works on that car hard. He said they put out the effort, so he has to put out the effort. And right now he is flanked by the 4 of Cliff Saunders, and right behind him is a 04 of Albert Saunders. So the Saunders brothers are in pretty good position. and so is Andrew Hayes in car number 9. Albert Saunders, the point leader, is running third as we get ready for a restart.
It looks like, Matt, we're about to go green. I've got some more information from the paddock area, but we'll save that for the next caution. Here is the green. Back up through the gears. Kelsey Rattino trying to hold off Cliff Saunders as twin brother Albert Saunders, the point contender, works over, and who's the meat in the sandwich now, Matt?
And it's Kelsey Rattino as he gets squirted out, and the new leader is Albert Saunders. 3 wide, and Saunders won't survive.
And brought way out to the wall was the number 4, Cliff Saunders. Did a good job of gathering it back, and all of a sudden, Brent muscles his way into the runner-up spot. Kelsey Rattino gets shaken off. He'll settle back into third, and what about Paul LaRue? He's coming forward tonight as Paul LaRue's up to the 4th spot and going for third off turn number 4.
Paul said tonight he had a fast car. All he needed was some luck. But right now he's able to flabbergast his way underneath the 36 of Rattino, and he made it look easy. And now he is going to try to attack the 66 car of Justin Brent. Trouble for Rattino. He's all over the track. Gets pounded by Saunders. He looked like a punching bag at the entrance of turn 3.
He does, and he literally gets bounced around like a ball in a pinball machine as the caution flag comes out, and Kelsey Rattino's brilliant run turns in. They brought him back, and he's going to be back out. Let's go back down, and we will talk again with John, who's it's been a tough night for our point contenders.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Andrew Hayes standing right here. Andrew, what took the car out tonight?
Yeah, it looks like we got a flat probably in that mess there, 1 and 2. I don't know. I think some people need to learn how to drive out there, but I guess I'm not one to say.
Number 9 was marching towards the front, but he's going to have to sit here in the infield, so we get ready to go restart here for our limited late model main event.
You know, John, that's a tough one for him because he is a real racer with all the right stuff and championship material, to say the least. Let's go back and see what's going to happen. I think the surprise might be Paul LaRue or that 7 who was involved in a jingle early.
But he does not come up to speed, Glenn Barkowski. He drops off the pace, and David LaRue is trying to get by him at the front of the field. Here's Albert Saunders going to work on Brent. Justin Brent hanging on by his toenails, and Albert Saunders is dead even as they roar into turn 4.
Coming off the 4th turn, Albert Saunders continues to be the guy that beats the drum the loudest, but Brent just doesn't give up as he continues to hold on in the upper groove. Here is Paul LaRue, the strongest. We've seen that car in quite some time. He's setting in the 3rd spot, and what about Provost? He comes from the back to the front. Here comes David LaRue as they come off turn number 4 to the stripe they come at, and that time it was Justin Brent by a tiny bit as the leader of the field.
But I think the 04 of Albert Saunders has tuckered out the 66, and Albert Saunders moves in front. Paul LaRue continues to maintain his 3rd place position with Wade Provost underneath him, but a driver creating a ruckus in car number 28, David LaRue, very smoothly went underneath Glenn Barkowski.
He certainly does, and he continues to show a lot of potential at this point in the event. We are not to the halfway point as yet. Down on pit road, a surprise. Cliff Saunders, who usually never drops out of the event, is there with mechanical woes. His twin brother, Albert Saunders, the point leader, is leading at the point. Brent, who's right there in 2nd, been there, done that as well. And then Paul LaRue running very strong in the 3rd spot with Provost all the way back up to 4. David LaRue, last week's winner, he's setting in position number 5 as they are 2 laps shy of the halfway.
And David Como, who led the early portion of this race, has dropped back into 7th place. Albert Saunders knows he's going to have a battle because Justin Brent, the last couple of weeks, has been very persistent. So the 66 trying to gun down the 04. And Paul Arute, very steady. And I think this is the most consistent he has been in the first half of a race this year as he continues to maintain his third place positioning.
He sure does. He has had a car that they have had nothing but problems with in 2015. But tonight he's got it dialed in and he looks racy on the podium currently in that third position. Now, brother David Arute starts to work over Provost for the fourth spot. We are at the halfway point with 10 laps complete and the final 10 to determine who is going to move to the top of the board in tonight's limited late model main events.
It's been a long time since Albert Saunders has got a victory, not since May 29th. So a long time between celebrations. Best battle, third and fourth. Paul Arute has a spot, but he is getting invaded by that number 88 of Dwayne Provost as they bazooka their way into turn number 2. It is still Paul Arute now widening his advantage over the 88.
No question, he continues to run a great line and continues to hit his marks in that third position. 12 laps are now complete, making 13 as they cross the stripe, as they continue to run nose to tail. Nobody's giving up an inch on the racetrack in this one. Saunders is out in front, Bren is second, Paul Arute in third as he continues to motor ahead of Provost in the fourth spot and David Arute in position number 5.
Glenn Barkowski made a pretty good recovery. He is holding on to the number 6 position at the front. It is Albert Saunders cannot run and hide from Justin Brent, as Brent is almost like gum on the bottom of Saunders' shoe. Albert tries to scrape him off, and he just can't do it. Strong run by Albert, and now Provost is trying to catch up with Paul Arute. That is a very compelling battle for third.
It certainly is, and that's a battle of 3 between Paul Arute, Provost, and David Arute, and then the number 7 machine still right there with him of Glenn Barkowski. 5
Paul Arute almost
remaining.
went sideways that time, and he made a good recovery.
He does. He gathers it back, and that gives David Arute the opportunity to go to the outside of Provost. It looks like Paul Arute continues to hold on to the third spot, but brother David is coming in the outside lane.
Get David to the outside, and Dwayne Provost is on the bottom. But right now, Paul Arute is holding both of them off, and Barkowski joining the battle for fourth place. At the front of the field, the script remains the same. The same slender lead for Albert Saunders against Justin Bren. We are down to the final 3 laps.
We certainly are, and we've got a great battle still going on between the Provost number 88 car and David Arute, and that works to the advantage for Paul Arute, who's now back on track, setting in that third position. Back up front, Albert Saunders is still the leader, coming back to the stripe, and Brent still setting in second, and Paul Arute still right there at position 3, but the fourth spot is where the action is, Matt, and it is a dogfight battle between David Arute, Provost, and Barkowski. Time is running out. If Brent has been saving anything, he's got to show it now as the leader, Albert Saunders, gets the white flag, but there's no surrendering as we continue to look at third on back.
It is do or die time for Justin Brent as he tries to erase the deficit that separates him from Albert Saunders, and Saunders is able to cannonball his way into turn number 3 with a healthy lead over Brent.
They come off turn number 4, lapped automobile. Ladies and gentlemen, double checkers are out. Albert Saunders has done it. Brennan for second, and a great run from Paul Arute to finish in the third spot. David Arute to finish in 4, and Dwayne Provost to finish. Even though at one point the car loosened up on him.
Yeah, one little hiccup coming out of the back
and he
stretch.
gathered it back, and he maintained and held on to his spot. A good run for Paul Arute. Hats off to him. He works hard as well as his crew does, and now they finally had some more success. Chuck Zantarski is down there, and Albert Saunders runs up front in the point standings. The Saunders twins about ready to get out of the car, and we'll be heading down to John Gates with another ecstatic winner.
Okay, safety equipment coming off of Albert Saunders 04 Flickinger Race Chassis Chevrolet. And here he comes, folks. Albert Saunders, a big win tonight here in our limited late model main event. And give him a hand, folks. Albert Saunders, what a run in the 04 car tonight. And boy, I tell you what, Albert, that 66 was coming on strong there at the end, but you did a good job holding him off.
Yeah, thanks. Barry got another awesome setup in the car for tonight. The car was really good. He made some great great changes after practice. So I was off to kind of a rough start the last couple weeks, so it's pretty good to get second last week and another win this week. So it's really cool. The car was awesome. Got to thank my mom, the whole team, my sponsors, American Sleeve Bearing, B&UZO, Fluckiger Race Chassis, Red Auto Machine, Rob Davis, Johnson Memorial Medical Center, Stafford Speedway, and everybody that puts this event on.
Albert Saunders having a great year in our limited late model NASCAR main event winner tonight, and what a run for Albert Saunders as we're going to go and talk to our second place finisher, Justin Brenn. And Justin, a good run, man. I'll tell you what, number 66 car was coming on strong there, especially at the end.
Yeah, I thought I had something for him there at the end. I was trying to save the tires, but unfortunately the car was just a tick too tight in the center. Definitely a good run though. We started 9th, finished 2nd, cars in one piece. Can't complain. Definitely got to thank all my sponsors. Couldn't be here without them. I got to thank Tippett's Optical, Batera Chevy, and Lindox, George Mack, Hood Medic, Napa of Southbridge and Dudley, D&M Auto, Rick McDonald Builders, Batera Chevy, and I definitely couldn't do this without the help of Tony from TA, my engine builder, Rob from RRC, for the awesome handling in this car. We worked hard on this car this week to get it back together, and I got to thank my crew too, Tyler, Kyle, my dad, my sister, Mark. Without their help, I wouldn't be here.
There he is, folks. Justin Brenn, second place in our limited late model main event. Good run for that number 66 team. Also, an equally good run for Paul Root. Paul limited 82 car. Make that the number 28 car picking up the 82 car picking up third place. And good to see you on the podium tonight.
Yeah, we're glad to be up here. You know, I want to get a win so bad. Those guys were going at the start there. Justin was flying on the outside. I thought he was going to clear him for a second, and I was just trying to stay there and just be close. If either of them had a slip up, and I would have gone in there. I want to win so bad. We're so close. I started in 11, 12 tonight, and I missed the wrecks. It was a tough start. Apologize to all the fans for the tough start, but hopefully we put on a good race towards the back end there. I have a lot of sponsors I have to thank. Supreme Industries, I can't do it without them. They came on board a year ago, and without them, I can't do it. Got to thank my crew. Steve, he works forever on this car. It's his project. We're trying to get him a win bad. I got to thank Rick, of course, Mike, Tom, Wendy, Everett, everybody. Bob, Phil, Race Cars, Donnie from Iraq for the awesome power. On Time Accounting for sponsoring third year. And yeah, I got to thank Napa and and that's it.
Good job, man. Third place podium run. Tell you what, Limited Late Models put on a good show tonight as we go back to the tower. Well, you were...